What is your grade for CJ? What is your grade for CJ yesterday? Rough outing. If you didn't know the numbers again, 20 of 33, 247, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One interception to just completely set up the Titans to score in the red zone. And then another one later on in the second half. 18 rush yards, passer rating of 78. And into context, Will Levis with his game, his passer rating was 123. So your grade for C.J. Stroud, Clint?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a D here. You know, you look at really kind of how the game played out. I mean, you had a couple of drives that ended in points. I mean, reality is you were given a short field twice. One of them ended up in a field goal. One ended up in a touchdown. And from there wasn't a whole lot of positives, if you will. But you mentioned the 2 interceptions that were just extremely costly. And if you look at the way in which the interceptions happen, one of them he clearly explained he tried to explain both of them in the post game presser, but one of them, he's throwing a spot route to John Mechie and he can't seam, so he throws it blind and he's backed up in that situation. You just can't do that. It happens. Like I don't know how much he's protecting John Mechie. He may have not sat down in the window. It appeared that Mechie sat down and CJ expects him to keep going. Yeah, but I mean, he may be protecting him, but based off of what he told us, that's a major issue. You just can't take that. You can't be throwing the ball blindly, backed up in your own territory with the game on the line like that. I love the aggression. I love the Bobby Slowick and D'Amico and even CJ's confidence and trusting and just saying, "Let's go, man. Let's go score some points." I love that. But as a quarterback, you can't turn the football over in that situation, especially throwing up what should be a 10 out of 10 times 100% completion right there, the way the defense played it. And then the second interception, he said all he's got to do is get a little more air on it and get it over that linebacker. And while that's true, as we're watching it unfold, I'll argue that's what gets this offense in trouble. And not necessarily talking interceptions, but that's what gets this offense in trouble is you're max protecting, you're throwing a deep dig, the linebacker gets depth at 20 yards damn near, and is running stride for stride with your receiver. To attempt that throw is going to get you in trouble more times than not. So I think both of those are big time negatives. And then Ron, at some point there's got to be a CJ accountability with this offense. 9 penalties in the second half for 83 yards. Right? At some point, I don't care who's responsible for what. At some point you got to look at the quarterback and say, "Hey man, it's week 12. It's week 12. Somebody else isn't getting in these guys' ass and getting it corrected, then you've got to get it corrected. At some point, it's your offense. You're on the field with them. You got to get that right." In the second half, 29 plays, 54 total yards. 29 plays, 54 total yards. That at some point we've got to look at the quarterback and say, "Hey, this is a major issue at the quarterback position as well as everything else around him." Not minimizing anything else going on around him, but that has to be a real problem. At some point in time, the great quarterbacks, that they got to fix that. Even if the pieces around the people around them aren't going to, they've got to make it right. They've got to fix it. And CJ has yet to do that. So then you look at the critical situations. We talked about the end of the first half. If you look at the end of the game, not being able to get that offense going in those situations, there's problems with CJ. I think there's trust and confidence problems with CJ, with Bobby Slowick, and with D'Amico Ryans. And I'm talking about all in CJ Stroud. I'm talking about all these from the perspective of the quarterback, because that's our conversation. I think D'Amico and Bobby and CJ himself all have trust and confidence issues going on right now with the quarterback. And I think it showed yesterday. So I can't get above a D, man. I'm gonna stick with a good solid D, not a D plus, not a D minus, good solid D.
Text line coming through. CJ's grade F plus, C minus, D plus, F absolute garbage. CJ grade C minus. What else can you give him? I want to give him a D. Horrible plays. C minus, C minus, C minus. Listen, I am so tempted to give him an F.
Hold on, so
because that was just awful yesterday.
He's wide open, CJ.
You just can't help him. You can't match Will Levis with his Will Levis-like plays. And I know you just talked about the interception, so I'm not going to, just continue to harp on that. But it's also the misses. He has had blatant misses that would have extended drives, just easy throws that would have extended drives. I know what you talked about on the post game yesterday. He had Nico for a third down conversion that was easy as pie. Then he just threw it into the ground, and he had multiple misses like that, where it's just like, what in the world? And just decision making. And I think a big thing is he is not instilling confidence in anybody with how he's going about his business and the way he is playing. So I'll go with D minus because he did have 2 touchdown passes. That was a big throw in the back of the end zone to Nico. But for him knowing he was playing against Will Levis, he made more mistakes than Will Levis did. And that's just what you couldn't do to help him.